CBS NFL sports analyst Charles Davis is sitting here with me today. Our series is called the GALvanize Who, Not Do series. Your do is incredible, but if I want to get to know your who, where would I start? Who are you?
Oh, that's a great question, Ashley, because I have to ask myself that question often. And the reason I say that is it's not always a reinvention because I think that's just too much. But every day, who am I going to be, right? Who am I going to uh, not just emulate, but what am I going to accomplish that makes me something today? Is it part of what I already have in my bailiwick and that I'm already working on, that I already have responsibilities for? Or is it something new I'm going to learn out there today? And between you and me this year, it was watercolor painting.
I like that. Do you have any examples you can show or no?
None that anyone should ever see.
So we're not going to start an Etsy shop.
No, we're going to be okay. But I did it.
It takes a village. And if I made you boil it down to just one person who shaped your who would it be?
If it's down to one person, it'd be my dad. He's my hero. My dad was a college football and baseball player at a historically black college and university, Bluefield State in West Virginia, which integrated in the 70s. But he played there, got his undergrad degree, got a master's degree from East Tennessee State University, became a teacher and a coach, and has spent his whole life doing that. Just turned 80. He's been retired from teaching and coaching for a while, but he still does insurance and taxes. He tap dances in shows. The man stays busy. He went for motorcycle training 2 years ago and ended up with one of those three-wheeled things. I think they call them a trike. So got him a motorcycle jacket for his 80th birthday. And so he's off and running. He's one of those guys whose energy level is just stunning at times. And he's been the guy for me. And if I had to boil it down to one, it would be him.
I love that. And I like to give each chapter of my life a title. And you just closed a pretty big chapter in your life, leaving Fox Sports for CBS Sports. What would you give this next chapter in your life?
I mean, it may sound trite, but this is new challenge. This is a new challenge for me because it's a different network. It's same work I've been doing, but it's new people. Maybe they have a different way of doing it than I've done it before, or different ways they want me to do it. But it's a new challenge, and there's a lot of optimism that goes along with that as well, because you can almost start fresh again in a lot of ways, So I'm eager to see where it takes me from me.
No, and considering, I don't know why you would ever doubt yourself, considering everyone that I've spoken to says the same thing about you. You are one of the most incredible human beings they've ever encountered. And instead of asking you, what is the key to being the best broadcaster, I want to ask you, what is the key to being the best teammate so that I can get that reputation as well?
I love that one, Ashley. And it doesn't come easy because we all want ours, right? We all have our own personal goals. That's the competitor in us, right? How do you make that into a teammate thing in what appears to be an individual deal?
Right.
That's where it gets difficult. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you it was the easiest thing in the world. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you even now it's the easiest thing in the world, because we all want to be recognized for what we think is a good job we're doing, right? That's just human nature. You get some of those things thrown at you at times, okay? In the beginning, I was in a 3-man booth at Fox for the BCS games. Well, I understood why in the beginning, because I wasn't a name, right? I wasn't the All-American player, and they brought in a big-time coach to be with me, all right? Well, I was really brought in to be with him because he had never broadcast before. So I knew what my role was and my mission. I've continued on, etc. There have been times when they've wanted to try other people. Okay, well, let's not leave them out on their own. Oh, Charles would be a good teammate. I end up becoming that guy. Have I enjoyed it? I don't think any of us flat out enjoy it. We have our own impression of ourselves. But what I learned along the way is the more I resisted it, the worse it was. All right. The more I resisted helping people or paying it forward, for lack of a better term, the worse things went for me individually, whether we call it karma, whether we call it the right way to do that, whatever you want to call it. I discovered that along the way. Okay. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you, oh, I've been a perfect saint and I've done it the right way. I've resisted and fought just like other people have. But what I've discovered is the more I've helped others. So when someone's come to me and said, hey, I've never done this, or can you help me with this? When I gave of myself, it seemed like things went better for me. When they threw a third person into the booth with me, you welcome them, do the best job you can to help that person and help your broadcast that day, and then you go on. Do you always like it? The answer is, of course, no. I mean, I actually asked someone who's going to be I actually asked a Hall of Fame player once, what was the key to working in a 3-man booth? And his answer to me was, make it a 2-man booth as fast as you can. So we all have that.
Right.
But I really firmly have it's grasped onto when people need my help, or if I can help them, or if I can be the good teammate, that's the best thing in the world for me. I just leave it with this. My last out at Fox, when they were going to hire Jay Cutler. Remember when Jay was retiring from the Bears, right? And so they decided they're going to hire Jay Cutler, make him the number 2 broadcaster as an analyst with Kevin Burkhardt. I got a phone call that said, hey, would you be, we'd like for you to be in the number 2 booth with Jay and with Kevin as our third guy, be a 3-man booth. Well, no one loves a 3-man booth, but I understood what the mission was. The mission was to get Jay Cutler right. Was to get Jay Cutler propped up, have him learn the business, the whole thing. And I went in with the whole idea I was going to be the best teammate possible, help Jay Cutler and see where it all went from there, right? Because I figured it'd be a year with Jay. He gets on his feet. I get off into another booth somewhere. Jay be the number 2 guy. Well,
you were at the first GALvanize boot camp over 12 years ago.
What an honor for me, huh?
No, what an honor for us.
What an honor for me, seriously, for Laura to ask me to do that. Laura Oakman, that's just, just tells you about her. But bottom line is that was a huge honor for me.
And you've always supported us, and we appreciate that. And if there's one piece of advice that you can instill into our brains as we begin our journeys, what would it be?
Same thing I tell everyone else, and probably even more so for all of us who are coming from a position where we weren't integral to the league or the organization we're working with, right? So any of us who didn't retire with a gold jacket in the NFL, right? Weren't an all-pro, weren't of this, weren't of that. We have to know our surroundings, our league, our organization, our people better than anyone else, right? Forge those relationships across the board, that sort of a deal, and be able to demonstrate our knowledge at the drop of a hat. Because as you've probably already discovered, Ashley, people can't wait to test you, even if they're not saying they're testing you.
Exactly.
Questions you'll get sitting at dinner sometime or just out on the field covering and what have you, they're test questions. So you got to be ready to pass the test at all times, and you can't always get your back up and go, the heck with you, I'm not listening. You just got to plow your way through and knock it down, but know everything about what you're dealing with and know the history of it all too. So everything that you do, you can put into a proper context. That's kind of what I like to do with it. But I do know you're going to get tested like crazy. I get it. I get tested like crazy, but that's just goes with the territory. But if we're ready to go, passing the test shouldn't be that difficult, right?
Well, Charles Davis, your do is incredible, but your who is just as incredible. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And all the best to you.